Yeah. Or Ragnarok with the mouse pad, you know?
Or me and Mike are playing without it, yeah, without a mouse pad. Yeah, true.
Of course, you have Gumiho with his towel, but that's of course a special, bit of a special case going on there.
Yeah, as we do see that first scouting probe for MCanning coming across the map, throwing down that GG spray. Oh, let's go.
You'll love to see it. Yeah!
And things are a little bit different here. This time, Vindicta didn't send out an early SCV to, you know, wreak havoc, to throw down an NG block or even throw down a bunker.
Yeah, he's still opening up double gas with that factory as well, so he does still want to be aggressive, but like you said, he's holding off on that aggression by a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. You know, he got it out of his system against Zaun. You know, he's got the eBay out, he's got the bunker as well. He's not going to be quite doing that against MCanning, and you can argue that he doesn't need to. I'm sure he's feeling a lot more confident, a lot more comfortable in this rematch.
Yeah, when you've already won pretty decisively in the first round, you got to be feeling good about going into the rematch as well, but I think that might also apply the other way around, you know? If you've lost in the first round, well, you can't lose again in the second, can you? Already you have nothing to lose.
The world won't let you. You just cannot lose again, apparently. As Vindicta does get across the map here with his Reaper, is going to get a bit of a scout off. We just see MCanning opening up very differently, though.
That is not a robo facility. That is not even a Twilight Council. That is, in fact, a Stargate, which is honestly similar to how Zaun opened up in game number 2 against Vindicta. So I gotta wonder, man, was he watching? Was he talking?
Was he watching? Was he talking? Let's find out. So far, the Reapers do pick off one probe. Oh, looks like they will both barely escape with their lives. Vindicta hasn't gone into the main base to scout yet, but he does meet up here with his Hellion. Soon he will be going for that dive. And the biggest difference in this game compared to what happened against Zaun is that Vindicta wasn't even able to scout the Stargate, if you remember, because of that cancel. This time, he will scout.
Yeah, he will confirm, not only that, but he will also confirm that a Phoenix is going to be the first unit out of that Stargate. Very nice probe control coming out from MCanning. Is able to take out that scouting force, but again, that force has served its purpose. It has confirmed those are Phoenixes coming my way. Yet he's still going for the Widow Mines. Okay, not anymore.
Yeah. Originally, he was going for Widow Mines to go for a drop, but instead of making a medevac, because of these Phoenixes, we do have a Viking instead. There is the add-on for the Cyclone. We do have a couple of Widow Mines spread out across these bases, but so far, we haven't seen any of them go off.
Yeah, these are just zoning Widow Mines, I guess is the description of them. If MCanning would just fly a little too close to the sun, or I guess it's the opposite in this case, a little too close to the ground, those Phoenixes are going to be taken out, and it's just something that Vindicta won't have to worry about as he does whatever aggression he wants across the map.
Yeah, for the time being, he's forced to stay at home because Phoenixes are designed to shut down any kind of drop play, whether it's Widowmine drops or Hellion drops or what have you. Meanwhile, MCanning once again going up this ramp. Ooh, is going to run into that Widowmine.
Unfortunate there. Could see him trying to shade out just at the last minute, but yeah, it was a little too slow for that.
Yeah, a little bit too slow. Meanwhile, we do see a very fast robo follow-up from this Stargate. So I wouldn't be surprised if MCanning does go into a fast bay once again and start that disruptor production.
Yeah, it is his trademark at this point. It is kind of what everybody is expecting him to do, but maybe that's exactly why he doesn't want to do it. He did show us that he's capable of making Colossus, and he definitely knows how to use them very, very defensively, as long as he doesn't run them down the ramp.
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, how good are these Orion shots going to be here? We only have a handful of gateway units remaining. There we go. One Adept does end up falling. We do have in total how many? 4 Phoenixes. I do appreciate this. MCanning does start up an Immortal. He needs it now before he loses too much.
Yeah, it's something that can really tank a lot of damage here from the Cyclone and from the Marines as well. There honestly aren't too many Marines out right now for Vindicta, but he is making the absolute most use of them. We've seen some very, very good stutter stepping coming out from him.
Yeah, meanwhile, we do have the activation of the Overcharge. Was this a little bit premature? It looks like Vindicta will respect this. He is going to lose one Widowmine, but he does back off in the end. He doesn't want to overextend. He doesn't want to lose his army.
Yeah, good call all around. I think, is he working on a third base? He is not. So he still is planning to go aggressive here on 2 bases.
Yeah, we've got +1 on the way, bearing in mind that we only have 1 engineering base, so it looks like he's still planning to take a 4th base, but again, isn't working on double upgrades for the time being, wants to be a little bit more aggressive than anything. Does he have eyes on the pocket base? Not quite, I don't believe so. Yeah, he's not fully aware of MCanning's economic position, and he's going to be able to get into these Colossi very quickly here. He's going to get a very powerful army if he's allowed to.
Yeah, that really is the power of the pocket base. You have to accelerate your economy very, very quickly early on, and just get to the this phase of tech before having to, really worry about juggling between being greedy and being defensive.
Yeah, because of all these Phoenixes, it's really difficult to kind of be aggressive with any kind of drop play. If we do have Vindicta pushing out across the map, I mean, we have an observer to try and scout that. I do think that MCanning, is being a little bit careless with these Phoenixes, though. Like, as the Phoenix count gets thinned out, then Vindicta is going to have a little bit more freedom with his army.
Yeah, he's definitely looking to try to harass wherever he can, but like you said, he is focused elsewhere. He is focused on just macroing up and getting his production facilities up and running. So yeah, he does take a little bit of unnecessary damage there.
Yeah, exactly. And Vindicta's going to be working up towards one big push, and this push is going to hit like a truck. Bear in mind that the Twilight Council is just about to finish up, so MCanning isn't working with Blink, he isn't working with Charge. He does already have 2 Colossi, and he's going to get into double Disruptor production soon because we have a second Robo on the way, but there's not going to be a lot to protect these Colossi and protect these Disruptors. So if MCanning, if he's a little bit too aggressive too early on, he may lose his advantage.
Yeah, this move out is definitely a little bit worrisome, but if worse comes to worse, he does have a recall available to him. What worries me is if he's out in the middle of the map, like so, and Vindicta gets concave on top of him.
Yeah, that's a scary moment for both players. Bear in mind, we have a couple of sentries, so MCanning was probably hoping to try and catch the army and cut it in half here at the ramp, but he respects Vindicta. He will back off. He recognizes, I don't want to be too careless with these Colossi, as he moves out. Okay, as he even pulls back his Disruptor.
Yeah. A little bit of unfortunate pathing there, but very, very easily fixed. We're starting to get to the mid to late stage of the game, where of course Vindicta is getting his upgraded ghosts. Those EMPs are invaluable no matter what your Protoss opponent's army composition is, whereas MCanning naturally is getting a Dark Shrine.
Yeah, Dark Shrine is going to be on the way for those DTs. We have continued Disruptor production. Vindicta is just going to scout quickly with his Marine and get an eye on the composition. There we go. We have a scan to confirm the amount of Disruptors, the amount of Colossi. Because of how many there are, he should recognize that, okay, we shouldn't really have charge at the moment. And Vindicta, he is pushing out.
Yeah, just trying to strike while trying to hit his timing as best he can before MCanning has +2, and while the upgrades are just about even here. Vindicta actually going to get a slight upgrade lead here when it comes to armor. Nice EMP, getting just about everything in this army.
Yeah, that EMP was massive. A lot of the NG on those sentries taken out as well, as Vindicta is pushing his way up this ramp. He wants to try and wedge himself between the natural and that 4th base.
And it is kind of working for now. MCanning doing a pretty good job of zoning the army of Vindicta away from that 4th base and from the heart of his own army. But yeah, now the Robo facilities are in a lot of trouble, and once again, these Disruptors and those Colossus are the backbone of the Protoss army.
And oh my god, 2 Disruptors go down immediately. MCanning, he just waddled a little bit too close to all those tanks. The Colossi is going to go down as well, and MCanning, he's losing his Robos.
Those Colossus just got a little bit too aggressive. MCanning doesn't really have a lot of AoE on his hands. That's a great Purification Nova, but is it going to be enough as Vindicta continues to rally unit after unit after unit across the map?
I mean, that was the last Robo. You know, what you see is what you get when it comes to the Disruptors, when it comes to those Colossi. Vindicta, he's pushing on even further. Another EMP blankets the entire army.
But not the Dark Templar. Really good Purification Nova once again, but that was the last of the Disruptors. The Colossus has no more of a buffer on it. This one DT is doing whatever it can, but yeah, that's not going to be enough. Vindicta, he doesn't even notice it. It's barely doing any damage.
GG, as Vindicta does take game number 1.
Oof. pretty similar fashion to the previous series, but I still absolutely believe that MCanning, he's got to have something up his sleeve here.
Yeah, I mean, that wasn't bad play from MCanning, I would say, just a little bit out-positioned. He did have an observer outside the natural Vindicta, so he saw the army coming, and as soon as that happened, that's when MCanning moved out. He wanted to try and meet the army in the middle of the map. He wanted to try and force a siege, but he was kind of forced to back off in towards the fourth, and we saw Vindicta siege up in between all the bases, and once he had that position, it was just really awkward for MCanning to engage. We saw him just taking a lot of tank shots as he was like trying to maneuver his way around. Yeah, Vindicta just out-positioning MCanning towards the end.
Yeah, we talked a lot about how Tropical Sacrifice and Data C are very, very good defensive maps. Moondance is the complete opposite.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of ramps, don't get us wrong, on Moondance, and you can take advantage of them, but, you know, it does come down to getting your eyes on the army, right? Whether it's through hallucinations or observers.
Well, that's the thing. You can take advantage of them as a defender, but also the aggressor can take advantage of those ramps and just zone you out from your bases, as Vindicta demonstrated.
Yeah, exactly. Oh god, just the positional battle went the way of the Terran that game. We did see some pretty good purification of us from MCanning, don't get us wrong. Some really juicy ones towards the end there. But at the same time, there were also a lot of tank shots going off as well from Vindicta. Like, he was just, oh my god, it was insane.
Yeah, there's some... Eventually, when you get enough tanks, they act as your own purification novas.
Pretty much. I mean, we saw. I think it was when like the Colossus like took one step too far forward, and then bam! Immediately, like 75% of its HP went down. I was like, oh my god, it was crazy. I'm sure the EMPs played into that as well. But yeah, really great play from Vindicta. That was just game number 1, as I do update that here on the screen, and we'll see how things change in game number 2.
Yeah, I'm loving this. We are not getting a single repeat map here in our rematch. Game number 2 will be on Cosmic Sapphire.
Oh, yeah, for the first time today, we are going to be getting into Cosmic Sapphire, a much larger map compared to Moondance, a lot of bases to be taken, not as many kind of ramps or high ground or low ground, but a lot of choke points to be taken advantage of.
Plus, there's a gold base. My absolute favorite feature of this map.
Do you think MCanning is going to have a little bit of fun? And no, there's no way.
Look, MCanning finds fun in everything he does.
True. He will find a way to make it happen. So far, you know, the disruptors haven't been quite enough so far. The DTs also haven't had the most impactful time in these games. Maybe that needs to all change here.
Yeah. It's time for MCanning to go for Proxy Tempest.
Yo, calm down, okay? Look, we're not casting Rotterdam, all right? Calm down, puppy. Calm down. Unless,
yeah. No, he's in the studio.
Yeah, he will be over on the
main
stream.
Maybe Rotterdam is sending out signals to Pig, and Pig slowly influencing him. But anyway, we are gonna be done speculating for now what our players are planning to do as we load into Cosmic Sapphire for game number 2. In the top left-hand corner map, starting all the way in the top left-hand corner, of course, our red Terran player from the land of America, representing the Cranky Ducklings, he is Vindicta.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Cosmic Sapphire, we have the American Protoss player himself fighting for his tournament life right now. It is MCanning. But there is that knockout bracket.
There is that knockout bracket, yeah. I think, yeah.
Oh god, yes, we'll get further into that format later on, but yeah, I do believe that players don't get knocked out unless they're in the knockout bracket.
Wait, what? Oh, that will make sense. That's the name.
There you go.
Should be self-explanatory, but I need that explained to me.
It's all good.
I need it. Yeah.
It's all good. Yeah, this is the difference between getting into Group Stage 2 or being relegated to that knockout bracket. We'll see who it is going to be, as Vindicta is going to be a little bit cheeky here. He does go for the full wall-off at his own main base, keeping MCanning in the dark.
Yeah, and it's actually kind of important this time. Vindicta is not opening up double gas for the first time. He's played, this is his 6th TVP tonight, and this is the first time he's only opening up with a single gas.
Yeah, the Madman, it looks like he's going for a Rax Expand here instead. So Vindicta going to be going for a much more economic opener. And if MCanning doesn't see this, which at the moment he doesn't, he won't be able to punish this anywhere near as hard.
Yeah, won't be able to, you know, go in with Stalkers or anything like that. He is chilling with his probe. Will the Reaper scout it? Will the Reaper scout it? The Reaper scouts it.
Wow, the probe is going to go down. We have a second. Oh, no, we have an SCV here. I was like, where's the second probe? We have a second probe that is going to be moving out, but it's going to take quite some time to get across that map to try and get eyes on whether or not there is a CC.
But as you're saying, that's going to take a little while, so yeah, Vindicta really taking control of the map right now. He is the player with the initiative, but because of that, MCanning, he's covering all of his bases, both literally and figuratively.
Yeah, great.
Adept ready, scouting with the probe.
Great zoning there with the Adept, does keep the Reaper out. Meanwhile, the probe looking at the vision here, MCanning, he does get eyes on that CC, so he's fully aware of the Rax Expand. He knows that Vindicta is going to be a lot less aggressive than he usually is. We only have one Reaper on the map, for example. There's no other Hellions behind this. Recognizing that Vindicta, yeah, he's going to be a lot more economic instead.
And we'll see if this is something that could actually play out into MCanning's favor. I think so far in his PVTs, he's really enjoyed just teching up as quickly as possible, and from there just trying to weather whatever storms his Terran opponents throw his way. We are getting a quick little pause here as MCanning is going for a robo facility once again.
Yeah, interesting. As looks like we're going to be diving back in. Any kind of issues have been resolved here, but as you were saying, we do have another robo opening. This isn't the first time we've seen MCanning do this today, and this does typically mean that he wants to get into really fast Colossi. He has the opportunity to go into a more aggressive style with the Colossus as well, and he's going to have a little bit of freedom to do so, just because of how more passive Vindicta is being for the time being. I say for the time being because he is still working on Widow Mines. He is working on that medevac.
Yeah, and going for the robo facility first instead of a Twilight Council, it can definitely help with the observers, but not having that blink does mean you have to have Stalkers in position to deal with this medevac drop.
Yeah, exactly. It is only going to be 2 Widow Mines alongside this medevac, so we'll see how much damage Vindicta can deal with this. More importantly, it is going to be a follow-up scout as well, just to get eyes on the Robotics Bay, which is already on the way for MCanning. Again, we did kind of see him do this earlier. We'll see if he goes for the more standard Colossus first or for the Disruptor first, as the Hallucination actually gets eyes on the drop.
Yeah, very nicely done here from MCanning, being very proactive with his scouting. He should be able to place his Stalkers in position. I say that, but I think he mostly has sentries right now. Okay, he's got a couple of Stalkers.
Yeah, he's got a couple of Stalkers. He's got an Immortal on the way as well. Like, the likelihood of this drop to getting damage done isn't very high, but we have seen Vindicta be very patient with his drops. We've seen him just kind of wait in the dead space for a good couple of minutes before really going in. So even though MCanning is ready for a drop now, Vindicta may not go for quite some time.
Yeah, but you know what? When he does go, MCanning's going to have eyes on that. That is the power of 2 observers.
The power of the observer. Again, the medevac just kind of flirting here with the idea of dropping. MCanning is taking a 3rd base. The bay is done, and is it going to be the Colossi or the Disruptor? We still don't.
Yeah, I'm going to say I wanted to change my answer at the last second, but it ended up being Colossus anyway.
It's all good. The Colossus is on the way as well. We do see that back at home, Vindicta's just kind of powering on up. We've got our upgrades on the way. We got +1 stim and combat shields. Looking to try and go for a push at this 3rd. By the time he does push out, though, there should be at least 2 Colossus available for MCanning.
Yeah, this is a map very much unlike Moondance. The rush distance is pretty straightforward, but it is still a massive in between. Vindicta, once again, though, looks like he is just trying to make sure he can stretch MCanning's attention to its absolute limits.
Yeah, and that Marine draws the attention of this entire army here. The Raven is going to be able to get a little bit of damage, but the drop doesn't go for it. Vindicta just goes in with 2 prongs.
Not yet. And so Raven once again is trying to see what it can get done. Vindicta does not want to push out with his main army until Stim is at least close to finishing up.
Exactly. We even have an auto turret here in the main base. It's a wise choice that Vindicta didn't pull the trigger in the main just because there are stalkers ready and waiting. We do see that MCanning for the most part has been able to defend it beautifully. We do have a Dark Shrine on the way. And across the map, Vindicta is still powering on up. There is that 3rd TC much earlier here compared to some of the other games.
Yeah, it was an economic opening, and Vindicta is just continuing to play economic throughout this game. Does not want to go for any weird 2-base all-in, so we shouldn't be seeing the boys pulled.
Yeah, and here we go. We have a scan at the 3rd base. We recognize that we have a couple of shield batteries. We have a Colossus, and we have the main army going to be hitting that 3rd at the same time. We have a drop headed towards the natural, and another drop ready to go into the main.
Once again, the triple prong. Vindicta just
and the Raven.
Slowly but surely setting it up. The quadruple prong.
Up. Exactly, here we go. We have a couple of Widowmines in towards the 4th base. The Colossi looking a little bit exposed, but no, he is in position. Vindicta is forced back.
Yeah, not quite able to jump on top of the Colossus yet, but the Widowmines will get a ton of probe damage over here. But in the natural base, MCanning is down, but he still has a very powerful army that should be able to deflect any aggression coming from Vindicta's way.
Yeah, but that was a great move there from Vindicta. Not just the fact that he got 13 probes, but he kept the Widow Mines alive. So even though he went for that 4-pronged attack, one of them was able to deal damage, and he didn't really lose too much there, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, the Raven is still alive as well in between these bases. This drop is a little bit too close to the edge, though. Like, it could get focused on. Oh my god, he's going back in!
Yeah, a bit of an unfortunate timing here from Vindicta, though. Still is able to land his Widow Mines and take out a couple more probes where that came from. Huge drop being set up by Vindicta.
Oh yeah, the drop is headed towards the main base. Meanwhile, we had a little bit of DT harass, but there was a turret here ready and waiting at the natural. The DTs got killed immediately.
Aw, I want to see it do some damage.
I think we all did. The DTs were shut down. We still have a pilot. We still have another DT ready and waiting to go in. But again, there is some static detection at the same time. That Doom drop is waiting for that opportune moment.
Yeah, we already saw how much damage one double mine drop can do when it's part of a quadruple pronged attack. What can 4 medevacs full of bio do as part of a triple pronged attack?
Yeah, like MCanning is just being pulled apart right now. Like, he's working on his second robo. He has been able to retain his Colossus and his disruptor count, but I feel like his macro has been slipping a little bit. Like, he hasn't had that consistent production, and as a result, his army just isn't looking too impressive. Again, losing all those workers earlier really did impact him. He's trying to take a 4th base, but Vindicta's already fully saturated on 3 bases, and I'm really worried about this Doom drop, just because like this main push is so threatening.
Yeah, that Doom drop has a lot of options its way as well. Again, it can go for the backstab and just drop directly into the main, or it's been a while since we've seen this, but it could also just drop behind enemy lines.
Yeah.
Or draw the attention of the Colossus away.
Yeah, he's drawing attention of the Colossus. Meanwhile, the disruptor shots are going to be going off. 2 of them do go off in a panic, and they both get wasted.
Oh, the Colossus immediately gets sandwiched between both bio armies. Vindicta still needs to be a little bit careful. He is being very, very conservative to push into those 2 disruptors. Understandably, he has taken out the Colossus though, so that's at least one fewer thing to worry about.
Yeah, honestly, that was pretty worth it. Like, what did Vindicta lose there? Really, he lost like a little bit of bio, and that is it. Look at the units lost tab. He hasn't lost any of his tanks. He only lost 1 medevac in total for those 2 Colossi. Meanwhile, at the same time, we had a little bit of a run by being set up, but it was cleaned up as well. And Vindicta, he has that Raven from the early game. He can't even disable these disruptors.
Yeah, those disables that really clinched him the game on Tropical Sacrifice. We could see a repeat of that, but once again, Vindicta, he's not being hyper aggressive. He's backing away, he's rotating around to another base, and he's making sure he's able to land his own expansions while this is going on.
Oh, meanwhile, there we go, an anti-armor missile on that army. We do have that disable on one of the disruptors. We have 3 more disruptors behind it though.
Yeah, they're doing a decent job of zoning the army away, but not a good job at all at killing the army. I say that, but the Stalkers with shield battery support is holding the line. The tank in the back just a little too far away to really chip away at this Protoss army.
Yeah, a lot of this is because a lot of the Widowmines were actually left behind for Vindicta. He only has one tank as his backbone. He's being forced all the way back here. MCanning finally with a little bit of momentum. He does take down that tank.
And he's looking to ride this momentum all the way across the map. There are limits to how far you can ride though, and yeah, this is about it. Right in the middle of the map here, Vindicta regrouping with a bunch of reinforcements, a lot of Marines, a lot of Marauders, a couple of Ghosts, and most importantly, Liberators now to try to zone away the Colossus. Has to be careful though. He loses both of them unnecessarily. Speaking of losing units unnecessarily.
Yeah, one Colossi, a little bit of a miss rally there from MCanning. We can't afford this though. We can't afford to be throwing away Colossi. Meanwhile, great target firing from MCanning. He actually took down 2 of those Liberators that were a little bit too far forward. So he's still trading relatively well here. And again, one juicy purification over can change everything.
Sometimes it really does only take one, but I'm not convinced MCanning is even going to get that.
We will see as MCanning once again pushes out. He has to be a little bit careful not to overextend here as we have a scan getting eyes on this army. MCanning trying to take a 5th base. Meanwhile, Vindicta dives on top of the army. Up.
Yeah, he's trying to target down the the Disruptors. Only is able to take out one of them. The other Purification overlands and takes out a Ghost and a bunch of Marauders as well. The rest of the army of Vindicta, though, is rotating around, but the shield batteries and the Zealots are doing a fantastic job of just holding the line and halting any momentum that Vindicta has here.
Yeah, we even have a DT in the mix as well, but as I say, that does get focused down. MCanning maybe overextending a little bit here. Does send out a Nova to zone away that army. Another one just to give him a little bit more breathing room. And once again, MCanning does save the majority of his army, is able to expand behind it.
Yeah, doesn't lose too many high-tech units either. These mines in the middle of the map are just killing me right now, but we'll see if they're able to kill the Protoss army as well. One of them is targeting down. Yeah, able to take out a Stalker. Not too bad.
Yeah, he gets a Stalker, gets rid of some of those shields. Meanwhile, DT is going to get eyes on the main army of Vindicta here. MCanning going to respond in kind, going to make sure he's able to keep up with the rotations. It looks like Vindicta's going to try and sneak out a gold base, but DT does spot that as well.
You'll love to see it, but yeah, he does need to worry about the harass being thrown down. This is probably the best use of the Dark Templar right now for MCanning. Just be as annoying as possible and delay expansions.
Yeah, and you know what? Vindicta, he just lost 2 of his Ghosts, by the way. Like, that was a great trade for MCanning, despite the fact that he is down in the overall supply. Like, he has been able to trade a little bit more efficiently in a couple of these fights. His Disruptor count is getting higher and higher. Storm is on the horizon as well. I just really worry that we just don't have enough here. We're still lacking a little bit in those Colossi. We're still lacking in those gateway units.
Well, we'll see. As again, as you mentioned, MCanning is a little bit lacking in a buffer and is a little bit lacking in Colossus, but as long as he's able to stall this game out, as long as he's able to make sure Vindicta doesn't kill him, all he needs to do is survive, essentially, and he'll be able to max out on High Templar, Colossus, Zealots, you name it, anything he wants.
Yeah, exactly, and he's going to be able to do so, especially as he does establish this 5th base. He's going to be able to get it up and running here. I also appreciate that, you know, the coined upgrades are coming out for Vindicta. That is, of course, the Afterburners upgrade. No, sorry, the Reignition upgrade.
They patched that. They had to have patched the name of that. It was always Afterburners. I refuse to acknowledge this name.
That's what the patch was recently for the StarCraft client. True, confirmed. As Vindicta's going to be able to take his own 5th base behind this. With that upgrade, by the way, he's going to be able to make better use of these medevacs, of these drops, as MCanning's able to blink on forward, pick off a couple of units.
Yeah, he draws a lot of Protoss army into a concave. He's coming in with the 3rd side of this army. A lot of Purification Novas were already spent. That was a pretty good Nova, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Like, the Vikings are chasing down the Colossus, and the Stalkers are having a very tough time buffering for the rest of this army.
Yeah, unfortunately, there was only one Storm available there. We have a couple more Novas or a couple more Disruptors coming in. The Colossi, they move command forward.
Yeah, but I think that Purification Nova did get most of the Bio Army. The Storms are trying to clean the rest of it up, but it looks like Vindicta does have enough of a Bio Force to keep this fight going. No, not quite.
Not quite in the end. It looks like MCanning's able to hold on. The gold base doesn't get up and running, by the way. But I feel like Vindicta just traded out a little bit better. He was able to collapse, get almost a full surround on the Protoss. The Colossus count was reset. A lot of disruptors went down as well. 6 disruptors and 6 Colossi in total this game. But MCanning, like, his economy has been left untouched. Even though we have those upgrades for the medevacs, even though we have a lot of drop potential for Vindicta, he's been going for these big fights instead.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of wondering what the purpose behind getting afterburners on the medevacs was now, if, you know, not to use them for a lot of harass and drops.
Yeah, I think it's overconfidence from Vindicta, because he's known for his multi-prong aggression, he's known for his drop play, he's known to pull apart his opponent, and I feel like he's recognized that now. Now he's actually going for it. But up until this point, that's why MCanning's been able to hold on for so long, because they've just been main army engagements.
Yeah, and don't get us wrong, Vindicta has still been able to trade much more efficiently than MCanning. I think it's really telling that neither player has really been able to build much of a bank throughout this game, but like you said, MCanning has so many bases right now that while a loss still hurts, while losing Colossus still hurts, he can technically still afford it.
Yeah, he really has been able to because of all these bases, but now things are changing. We're forced to recall here. Finally, Vindicta is making use of these medevacs. He's trying to go for these drops. He's going for all this Liberator harass as well. He has been able to just pull apart MCanning a little bit, and now the army is a little bit haphazard. You know, MCanning may be able to catch a couple of units left unattended.
Yeah, now MCanning is about to max out. There we go. It's fully maxed out, and yeah, it's Vindicta's army advantage isn't quite as threatening as it once was. I say that, but it's a lot of Liberators with range.
Yeah, are we really pushing into all these freedom zones? Like, is that really the wisest choice? We do see a lot of gateway units going down here. The next side does get picked off by that drop.
I love that description, by the way. Vindicta really encompassing America right now with all of those freedom zones.
The freedom has arrived. Oh, the Templar Archives is going to go down. A couple of Colossi are going to be going up this ramp. I'm a little bit concerned here. Okay, MCanning, he is controlling them. He is going to be able to pull back here, but Vindicta goes on even further as his reinforcements take out the fifth.
Yeah, it's only a single High Templar here, and the Storm does get avoided by the Bio.
Oh, exactly. The Nexus is going to be going down as well. In the blink of an eye, 2 bases have fallen here for MCanning. The drop in the main base still has not been dealt with, and the Cyber Core is going to go down. Everything.
That's Cyber Core. Cyber Core. It's looking pretty mighty vulnerable right now.
Man, he wants it all, mate. He gets a robot, but he's forcing a massive response out of MCanning. MCanning still has a lot of army supply. He's going for a massive counterattack.
And Vindicta's army just isn't quite in position. He has done a really good job, though, of forcing these choke points with his Sim City, and he does have a couple of Liberators left over back home. MCanning, it's kind of a dead if you do, dead if you don't moment for him. Can either push in and take a lot of damage, or go back home and also take a lot of damage.
Yeah,
he does have a recall available for him.
Back at home, he is taking a lot of damage, by the way. A lot of workers are going down. The drops still have not been dealt with. The Liberators are going ham here in the mineral lines of MCanning. He has to push in. He has to deal damage. Vindicta rotates away, and he does expose his space a little bit, but MCanning just can't find a way in.
I think he has high sec auto tracking on top of this planetary fortress. That's, again, just something else that hurts so much for the Protoss army. Clearly, these Purification Novas landing on the SCVs, I think that's actually beneficial for Vindicta right now.
Yeah, I think he wants more
army.
Yeah, he wants more army supply than anything here. A couple of Novas are going to be going up. Another Disruptor got picked up, another High Templar as well. And MCanning, it feels like he's pretty committed. He doesn't have a bank, not like he used to. He is replacing these bases, though, and he does sneak out that gold.
Yeah, this is definitely one way to equalize the economies right now if you're MCanning, but again, Protoss armies take so long to build. They take even longer to build if you have to reproduce all of your production facilities.
Yeah, it's like they take so long to build, especially when you don't have any robos. Like, MCanning has to rebuild everything, but he powers on through. He did kill quite a lot of ghosts there in that moment, but the rest of the army is going for another counterattack, and this base is going to 100% go down.
Yeah, there just isn't anything in position right now. This is the vast majority of MCanning's army, and it is taking a beating, let me tell you.
Yeah, it really is, especially if Vindicta turns around, especially if he tries to go for a bit of a sandwich, and I think that may be what he goes for. And MCanning has to be a little bit careful. We may have to recall out.
That's a lot of EMPs available for Vindicta. Right on top of that choke point, he will sandwich the entire army. He is able to target down every single Disruptor, Colossus, and everything in the blink of an eye. MCanning lost his entire army.
That was it. That was his entire army. That was what was keeping him in this game. We do have a lot of DTs. We got 8 DTs in total, I guess. Copium, as they can maybe cause a little bit of a comeback here. They don't have blink. The Golden's base has been taken, and MCanning has finally realized that he didn't have any robos.
Yeah. Just as Vindicta scouts that gold base as well. Good zoning storms, but I don't see a lot of High Templar left for MCanning. I think it's just about 2 more storms available for him.
Not a bad storm there, don't get me wrong. Meanwhile, the DTs across map have been dealt with. 18 SCVs just got picked off, so not bad economic damage, but MCanning needs more than that. Here we go. Colossi are on the way once again.
Yeah, again, surprisingly, even MCanning has a decent economy. He has enough of an economy to produce these 2 Colossus, but I think it's important to note that's all he's producing right now. Along with a handful of zealots.
It really is, and Vindicta is going to be pushing on forward once again. Meanwhile, the gold base has been scouted, and 1 Liberator is enough to deny any kind of mining here. This is kind of the Hail Mary play for MCanning. This was what was going to keep him in this game, and maybe allow him to survive long enough to rebuild his army, but already his economy once again being hindered.
Yeah, on top of that, being forced to warp in those 2 Stalkers when he's on such a low economy, that's really going to hinder him when the fight happens.
And he has to warp in defensively here at his gold base as well. At the same time, Doom Drop once again into the main base. Everything is going to be going down here. We do have a couple of Colossi going to be going up this ramp, but pushing up a ramp is never something that you want to be seeing.
Yeah, even if it's your own ramp, your opponent has set up on top of it, and you never push. GG is called, and Vindicta will secure his position as the Captain America